beautiful, beautiful western Sulawesi. Heading north. I'm not quite at Toli, but I'm heading that way. Heading up from Manado, but taking the road on the west side of the, it's kind of a peninsula really. The island gets really skinny here. So I'm taking the west side, which is not the main road. But as you can see, the road is pretty fucking fantastic, at least in this section. Yesterday, last night, there was a massive section. It would have been, I don't know, like 5-10 kilometres where there'd just been continuous landslides. It was sort of cut into the side of the cliff, and the cliff just kept collapsing onto the road. So yeah, the road there was completely fucked, and it was a lot of fun actually. But the main hazard, of course, was that it was like really, really dodgy road surface, and I really needed to look where I was going, but I kept coming, you know, over a hill or around a corner, and there would just be the most exquisite view in front of me, and it was all I could do not to just, you know, stare at it open mouthed and, you know, run into a hole or off the side of the cliff. So as far as problems go, it's a pretty good one. This morning I set out and I only got about 30 k's down the road, and every time I looked to my left I was just seeing these beautiful beaches, white sand beaches, palm trees. Oh, it's gorgeous. And eventually I was just like, no, I just have to go and like have a look at the beach. So I went and I pulled off onto a little side road and found this gorgeous little spot, and there was a family there, whole bunch of kids, not many blokes, just a few women, and a whole bunch of kids. And they're out there having a day at the beach, had a fantastic picnic. They said, come and eat, come and eat. We had to take about, you know, 300,000 photos and selfies, which is par for the course. And yeah, and I was hungry because I hadn't really had breakfast, and there wasn't, where I stayed, you know, there was a bit of accommodation. There was sort of like rumah makan dan penginapan. They're really, you know, like they're roadside motels basically, or the Indonesian version thereof. But yeah, there wasn't much going on in the way of food in town when I left this morning, so I hadn't really had breakfast, except I did have some coffee and I had some bananas, but it wasn't really, for me that's not really breakfast. Breakfast is a serious affair in my books. And yeah, and I was thinking, oh, I wish I had some nasi kuning. And anyway, yeah, so I wandered down to the beach, and it's just exquisite, you know, and there's a whole bunch of kids playing in the shallows, and you know, and the women are like, oh, come and take 100 selfies and then come and eat. And they, of course, had this gorgeous spread of nasi kuning and chicken and noodles and eggs and all the glorious things that every self-respecting Indonesian family would take on a beach picnic. And so yeah, I was spoiled rotten, and then, you know, I went and hung out with the kids and went swimming, played games with them, and I have had the best morning. I've just laughed so hard, and I've been swimming, and I've been fed, and I'm having so much fun. Indonesia's awesome. I love it. I'm having so much fun. People are awesome. I feel really lucky at moments like this, you know. I feel really lucky to be a woman. Often it's hard to sort of travel on your own as a woman, but there are real upsides, and the upside I have to say that I was thinking most about this morning is the fact that I can sort of go anywhere. So I can go and I can be part of the family, right? I can go and hang out with the women and the children, and the women don't have to, you know, they don't feel like they should wear the hijab, and they don't feel like they, you know, need to be proper, or, you know, I think there's a lot of self-censorship, right? There's a certain way of behaving, and I guess it's conservative society, and it's got sort of, you know, this Islamic religious overlay. And so a lot of the time, you know, when there are lots of stranger men around, you know, the women will be very modest and that sort of thing. And so it's super cool, you know, being a woman. I can just show up and we can all go swimming, and no one needs to wear a scarf over their hair, and, you know, we can just chill out and be ourselves, and it's just great. It's really awesome. And you know, it's really funny like a lot of people in Australia said, oh, you're going to struggle as a woman travelling in predominantly Muslim areas. And, with the absolute caveat that Islam is different in every culture, like Islam doesn't exist as a monolithic set of cultural practices. It's an overlay that's reinterpreted in every community. But in Indonesia, at least, I've actually found that I've had such an amazing time in predominantly Muslim areas, and one of the reasons is that I have been treated with such respect by everybody. The men have treated me with more respect in the Muslim areas than in the Christian areas. I as a woman, a white woman traveling alone, like I stick out like a sore thumb. And in places like in Flores, which is mostly Christian, in Timor-Leste, which is very Catholic, in Bali, which is Hindu, I got a lot of sexual harassment, and I mean most of the time nothing that scared me, but enough to just piss me off, right? It's just, it's fucking annoying, and it's disrespectful, and it just sucks. It just sucks being sexually harassed all the time, and walking down the street and having people catcall you and shit like that. And that doesn't happen. It has not happened in Muslim areas in Indonesia. It hasn't happened in Java. It hasn't happened in Sulawesi. And I guess, and yeah, in Sumbawa as well, which was mostly pretty Muslim. No, it didn't happen there either. I have not been publicly sexually harassed in these areas. And then people say, oh, it's because the men, they won't talk to you, they won't interact with you, and that's completely wrong as well. Like, I have been embraced by men and women alike and treated with respect, and and I'm very conscious that I'm really privileged. My experience as a woman in a conservative, Muslim society is very good, because I have this absolute privilege of being an outsider and a bule, a foreigner, and myself not Muslim, and that means that I don't have to comply with a lot of the expectations that do apply to local women who are Muslim and such. I am not expected to wear a hijab. I am not expected to never ever show my arms. If I wear a short sleeve top, it's completely normal because I'm a bule, and for sure, it's not normal for women to get on big motorbikes and ride around on their own. Here most women's families, their fathers, also their mothers, the mothers are no pushover here. They're never going to let them go off just on their own, completely unattended, like they don't go anywhere much on their own, especially not like overnight or anything. But that doesn't apply to me. So yeah, I get to wander, through this landscape where I've been treated really well and treated as an honoured guest. I've been absolutely spoiled rotten, and yeah, and the men will talk to me, not as an equal, but as someone who's different from them, but someone whom they respect, and and the women are just they're my friends. Some, like the older women, are often very protective, and the younger women are my friends, and and the kids are not. Some of the little kids are a little bit scared of me because I'm a stranger and I'm weird. I've got this white skin, and I don't know, I'm a bule. Little kids are often scared of strangers, but you know, like in general, the kids are really open and forthcoming. And the other thing that Indonesia has given me, this is actually a real revelation to me, is I really like kids. Most of my life I have been scared of children. You know, I haven't really liked them either. You know, they were always to me sort of, you know, these small people, small demanding people with whom you could not reason. And I was just like, I don't know what to do with them. I don't know what to do. But Indonesian kids have have totally, you know, reignited my love for small human beings around the world. Anyway, I'm rambling endlessly, but I'm having a great morning, and I just wanted to share that with you. I'm having a great morning, and I'm filled with love for all of the awesome Indonesian people that I've encountered. And you know, I feel so lucky. I feel so blessed to get to travel through this amazing country, and so very blessed to have been embraced and cared for by so many kind strangers. It's just beautiful. The riding is fucking awesome. Alright, I'll stop rambling now. Happy days.